I am overeducated. I've had like 22 years from kindergarten through graduate school, and in that entire time, I have never had an Asian American teacher or role model beyond my family.
When I got to the University of Washington in 1990, the school I was part of a brilliant hiring scheme, and there were 4 or 5 women of color that were hired from good schools of social work to be on the faculty all at once, and 3 of them were Asian American. I didn't realize it at the time, but having that whole cohort of women and having particularly Asian American peers was just one of the most precious resources I could possibly have had as a new hire, as an assistant professor.
I'm Japanese American, actually Japanese Canadian, and my parents really encouraged us as kids not to stick out. So if you think about a nail in the wood, the idea is to stamp it down so that you are not distinguishable from others. And if you think about it, that kind of mentality is very, very different from the North American leader, where individuals that stick out from others in an organization or in society are viewed as leaders. I think that the other reason is that Asian kids are encouraged to go into STEM disciplines. And if you look across higher education, they've actually done analytics on the frequency of different college majors represented within the college presidency. And STEM majors are the minority of college presidents. Most of them are humanities or social sciences majors.
I had mentors, and many of them were women, but never Asian American women. It just, the numbers just get smaller and smaller the higher up that you go. And according to statistics, like the Asian American and Pacific Islander leaders in higher education, something like 3% of all deans across the nation are Asian or Pacific Islander. If we're going to split it in half, that means roughly 1.5% of deans across the country look like us. And so we're in this very rarefied club, and almost like we're unicorns is how we've joked about it.
I've been very fortunate that I've had many mentors who are not Asian, who really took an interest in me, and I can point to a number who were really instrumental at key points in my career in my path. There are other instances where I have seen individuals where I don't think that they were adequately supported. I think some of it has to do with mastery of English, to be able to speak in a large committee meeting or to speak in a large room and to command attention. Unfortunately, one form of bias is one's command of the English language. And if you are an immigrant and you speak with an accent, whether you're Asian or you're European, that is, I think, a disadvantage. It's one way that people evaluate you unfairly, I think.
I've come across this very subtle kind of expectation that as an Asian American person I would be more docile, more laid back, more formal, more going along with the flow, quiet and intent. That's been funny, isn't it? Quiet. And with the gender identity overlay, I think the expectation that I would perhaps lack the traditional qualities of leadership might be something that I sort of saw reflected in people's eyes in some ways.
The way I approach diversity and inclusion is to look at diversity across the board, not only for Asian Americans, but also African Americans, Latino, LGBTQ. And if you support as a leader diversity in general, you'll have much more credibility than supporting diversity in your own ethnic group.
Particularly at this time on college campuses and in higher education, when there is so much calling to account around issues of social justice and equity, I get it. I don't have questions when I see students standing up in protest. I understand it very deeply and very personally. I think I try to carry that knowledge and that kind of personal experience into then how I try to work within my college and across the university to build an infrastructure that truly is inclusive.
To me, that is the job. That's the work that you and I do as leaders on university campuses, it is to open up the university, to democratize the higher education, to create a place where there is genuine appreciation and genuine capacity to teach and learn, for everybody to teach and learn. We have a ways to go in higher education, but I think having Asian American leadership at the top creates a much better opportunity and likelihood that we'll be able to do that for generations of students at the university.
Absolutely.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.